This is Sean. He was 12 years old. On April 14, 2022, Sean did his homework after school. He prepared his snack and started to do his chores, all the while he was babysitting his 2-year-old brother who was napping. Fast forward an hour and 20 minutes. Sean's 16-year-old sister Maria found him suspended from a swing set in the backyard. He was wearing a man's clothes, a bag over his head, and his arms were pinned to his body by a belt. The police say Sean did this to himself. Sean's parents don't believe it, and they want the state police or the FBI to take over the case. The family and now the public need answers. What happened to Sean that fateful afternoon? Let's investigate. Hey guys, welcome to my channel Mystery Inquest. My name is Veronica and I make true crime and mystery videos. And if that's something you are into, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Okay, so I am making this video today to help Sean's family to get another look at this case. And guys, if you haven't heard about Sean yet, this will make your head spin. You will probably cry and you might get angry. I have new information from the family's private investigator, and just heads up guys, there is going to be a partial reenactment in this video regarding the belt. But please watch to the end, because there is something we can all do to help Sean's family to get justice for Sean and to potentially get a dangerous person off the streets. So guys, sit back and let's start from the beginning. Sean Daugherty, and I'm so sorry guys if I pronounce this wrong. Sean Daugherty was born on November 8, 2009 to his mother Ramona and father Timothy. They also have a daughter Maria who's 16. After some time, Ramona and Timothy separated and found new partners. Ramona married Jared, and together they have 2 boys who were 2 and 5 at the time of the unfortunate event. Ramona and Jared were both employed very high up in the military. I think they were both lieutenant colonels in the Air Force. Hi Svenny. Sorry guys, this is my pooch. They lived together with Ramona's mother Via in a safe and beautiful Yorktown in Virginia. Yorktown is famous as the location of America's most important battles in the 18th and 19th centuries. In 2022, the neighborhood that Sean was growing up in was peaceful with a very low crime rate and perfectly manicured lawns. Sean was a smart, straight-A student who enjoyed school. He was taking 8th grade math in 6th grade. According to his parents, Sean was responsible for his age and he was a proud older brother. Sean loved Star Wars, Disney and Marvel. He was a voracious reader and he loved playing Fortnite and Minecraft with his friends. Overall, he was a great kid and a joy to his parents. His mother said that he loved life. Every night, he would follow Ramona around as she did her chores, and he would talk to her about anything and everything. Then he would hug her and kiss her and say, quote, "Okay guys, good night. Love you, bye!" And then he would run and jump into his bunk bed. Sean loved traveling. The family just came back from a Disney cruise and they loved it so much that they planned another cruise straight away. Sean got his new passport just 2 days before he passed away. Overall, he seemed happy and content in the days leading up to the incident. On Thursday, April 14, 2022, Sean got off the school bus at 3:02 p.m. He walked a short distance past 2 of his neighbors' houses up to his house. He arrived at 3:04 p.m. the latest. He just passed Grandma Via on the way out to an unplanned doctor's appointment. Sean's mom just got home too, but she was taking Via to the appointment. She asked Sean to watch his little brother who was napping on the sofa and promised to call him from the car. Sean's stepdad was at another appointment with their younger son. Minutes later, on the phone, Sean told Ramona that he had homework to do and that he was looking forward to his gaming after doing his chores, of course. At 3:09 p.m., he took a picture of himself holding up his homework and he sent it to his school. Not long after that, his mom called for the second time and told Sean to wake up his little brother and give him a snack and maybe put a movie on. Sean said he got it. At 3:27 p.m., Mom called again for the third and last time. She realized that Sean wanted to play Fortnite, so she told him to take his brother upstairs with him and to give him his iPad that was charging upstairs. That way, Sean wouldn't need to change his plans. What happened next can only be speculated on according to the evidence left behind. Sean took a jar of peeled peaches, his favorite snack, out of the fridge and he scooped one into a bowl. Then his chores app alarm must have gone off at 3:30 p.m. because the peach was left uneaten on the kitchen counter. The trash was taken out of the upstairs bathrooms, and it seems that something or someone must have interrupted him just as he was about to empty the kitchen trash can. Sean never got to play Fortnite with his friends that day, and he also never took the iPad off the charger for his little brother. His Crocs were left upside down next to the trash can, and this is extremely strange to the family because Sean would never walk barefoot in the house. He hated the feeling. At around 4:50 p.m., Maria got home from her tennis practice, and to her surprise, the front door was locked, as the family seldom locked their doors. Sean wasn't opening the door either, nor was he answering his phone. This was really strange to Maria. She was a little frustrated because she was about to be picked up by her boyfriend and his mom to go to her boyfriend's lacrosse game. Maria then decided to run around the back to try to enter the house through the back door, and that's when she found Sean. But at first she didn't realize it was him. Her brain couldn't comprehend at first what she was looking at. She saw a figure hanging awkwardly off the family swing set. The person's legs were dragging on the floor and his knees were inches off the ground also. At first, Maria didn't recognize him because he had a bag over his head. The next thing Maria saw was a gardener in the neighbor's yard who was just standing there looking confused while taking in the scene. Maria then recognized Sean's hands that were tightly bound to his body by a belt. She sprang to action, simultaneously calling 911 and lifting the string that was positioned around his chin over her brother's head. Maria then performed CPR for 6 minutes until the EMTs got there and took over. For some very strange reason, Sean was dressed in his stepfather's dress clothes. The bag on his head and the string came from the family's garage. It was a motorcycle helmet bag and the string came out of the bag. There were also some shoes half unlaced in the family garage also, as if someone was looking for a suitable string. This is also a red flag to the family, as they are a military family and they have all kinds of ropes around, and Sean knew that, so why would he use that? The belt was so tight on Sean's body that the EMTs made a note how difficult it had been to unbuckle and remove it, so they could administer CPR. Sean's glasses were nearby on the floor. One of the lenses was gone and it was never found. He was barefoot, but his feet were suspiciously clean. There was a garden chair near the swing. Exact position is unknown as it was moved by the EMTs. The whole scene of Sean hanging there like that seemed like it had been staged, like Sean was dressed up and propped up into the position like a doll, like some kind of effigy. Ramona got home just in time to witness Sean being revived. She was also in shock, and she remembered her 2-year-old son was still inside, and she ran into the house. She found him hiding beneath a pile of laundry on their chair. Ramona yelled his name, and as she picked him up, he opened his eyes and started to cry. She said, quote, "He was really limp and just out of it. He didn't seem like his normal self." Ramona was grateful that her toddler was probably asleep throughout the whole incident. But later he told Ramona that a friend was chasing Sean, punching him, and that the man touched his arm. Ramona then went in front of the house and asked a few neighbors standing there if they saw what happened, but nobody saw anything. She then asked the gardener the same question, and he said, quote, "I don't know him who did it." Sadly, Sean didn't make it despite the life-saving measures by Maria and the EMTs. The whole family was in shock, and they wanted to know who did this to their Sean, and they hoped that the police would help them, but almost immediately there seemed to be a discord between the family and the investigators, who seemed to make up their mind that this was just a self-demise or self-oofing. I'm so sorry guys for the terminology. Maria made a detailed sketch for the investigators to show them exactly how she found Sean, but they didn't take it. The whole family went to a hotel while the police were at the house. They were surprised to receive a call at midnight, and they were told that it's cleared and they can go home. The family said that there was no tape anywhere to protect the scene, there was no black powder anywhere to show that fingerprints were taken. They later found out that no fingerprints were in fact lifted that night. It was done 4 weeks later, and only after the parents begged them. The forensic team was good and thorough at collecting the prints a month later, but guys, it was a month later. How good can it be? Ramona was also shocked to find open drawers and Sean's underwear in the master bedroom. She couldn't comprehend how it got there and why the police didn't take it as evidence. Ramona and Jared carefully placed the evidence in a Ziploc bag and called the investigators. They came back the next morning, and Ramona could tell that their mind was already made up. The investigators didn't seem to be interested in Ramona's testimony about what was out of place in the house. She gave them the underwear and some strange trash bags that weren't theirs that were found in the kitchen. kitchen. They had blue handles, but Ramona only bought red-handled bags at Costco. What were these bags? And then when the Ellie was leaving the house, they almost left the evidence behind. The parents have no idea if any of it was tested or what happened to it. She also didn't know she should have gotten some kind of receipt for the evidence. The family also found a big palm print on the glass door leading to the yard. It was much bigger than their hands and it had some kind of film on it. After much begging, the LE lifted the print, but they seemed annoyed. Allegedly, at first they said the print was good, but they got no match. But then later, the family were told that it was no good. So which was it? There seemed to be like some kind of breakdown in communication between the police and the family. This is evident to me. Ramona also found it strange that she called the LE up and offered her own DNA sample, asking them, "Don't you need it?" And they were like, "Oh, okay," taking it almost reluctantly. She still had hope though that they would find eventually what happened to Sean, because there were so many people there at the time. Most neighbors were at home, there were landscapers cutting the lawn, and there were a lot of parents waiting for their children to get off the school bus nearby, so somebody must have seen something. It's true that the lawnmowers might have masked any noise of struggle, but many neighbors could see into their yard. Surely someone saw something. The investigators surely interviewed everyone. The family tried to appeal to public to come forward with any information, but nobody seemed to know that something so serious happened in their area. They then contacted the newspapers hoping they would run the story in hope to get more witnesses. But when the reporter called them back, to the family's shock, they said to them that they wouldn't take the story because Ellie told them that it was self-demise. Ramona asked the investigators the next time she spoke to them about this, but they denied it and they insisted that they were investigating. Ramona and her family were confused how much investigation was the Ellie doing. 4 weeks later, they realized that they were definitely not investigating because their neighbors would come up to them and tell them that they were never interviewed. And then more neighbors told them the same thing. The family was like, quote, "Wait a minute, something is wrong with this investigation." They were also shocked to see the note from the ER doctor that stated history of self-woofing ideation, and the EMT report also said the police was there to investigate self-demise. Allegedly, the hospital report stated that medical information was gained from the medical records and EMT. Ramona knew this was impossible because all of their medical records were on the base and there was no such history for Sean. She asked the doctor how he got that information. The doctor said the EMTs were there and the investigators were there. The EMT said that no medical history was obtained. So that leaves the investigator. And it was not just that. Allegedly, they said that Sean was self-demisal and that he had attempted the same before and had self-woofing ideation. The inspector allegedly gave these conclusions to the medical staff, his mind already made up that this was a self-demise. But to the family, he apparently insisted that they were investigating. Guys, if this is true, that's crazy and the family definitely needs help. The next thing is so crazy, guys. One of the inspectors on the case called the family after they had more questions. Ramona and Jared were both on the speakerphone when the inspector allegedly asked Ramona, quote, "He asked me if my son was retarded. I said no." He said, "Well, has he sought mental health because he's an idiot or stupid?" No. Then he said that Sean was a straight A student, so he definitely could self-demise himself. End quote. Ramona couldn't believe what she was hearing. How can they be treated that way? Okay guys, so now I have some answers to my most burning questions from the family PI from their Facebook page. Was the house unlocked when mom and grandma left for the appointment? They don't know. He could have locked the door behind him. He may have not. His habit was to lock the door. They don't know if he did or if he checked the back. Okay, so we don't know for sure whether the door was locked or not. Someone could have come through just as he was emptying the trash. Or someone might have knocked on the door and interrupted Sean. I cannot imagine what else would make him stop halfway through his chores, kick off his Crocs, run upstairs to change into his dad's clothes, and then go into the yard to do the terrible thing to himself. It just doesn't make sense, guys. Besides, his own clothes are still missing. The next question I asked is, why didn't Maria have her own key to the house? Maria had her own key to the house. She's a teen and she just forgot it that day or she couldn't find it. What books was Sean reading happening at the time. Sean was an avid reader and loved fantasy and adventure. He would cruise through series after series. That day, April 14, 2022, he checked out Warriors 1 Into the Wild by Erin Hunter, a new series, and he hadn't started it yet. No bookmark. I was wondering if Sean read about that particular self-demise method, as he was an avid reader and there was nothing about it in his internet search history. But I don't think it was his favorite genre of literature, like, for example, if he was into true crime. It's not impossible to me, but it seems unlikely considering his age too, unless he heard it when he was gaming and someone discussed it there, because that method seems particularly sophisticated for just a 12-year-old. Next question. Were the strange garbage bags with blue handles may be left by the police? No, they took them the next day as evidence after we bagged them. They were not theirs. This is really strange to me. Who brought these bags and why? I would like to know what tests they have done on these. Was the trash searched either by Ellie or family for Sean's missing clothes? The trash was searched by the family, no clothes. I find it strange that the investigators didn't do such a basic search. It indicates to me that their mind was really already made up. But how do they explain that Sean's clothes from that day are gone? Next question. Was the 2-year-old interviewed by LE? Was he tested for substances since mom noticed he seemed drowsy? He was not interviewed. He was not tested. Guys, I think this is a mistake. I know he's a 2-year-old, but even 2-year-olds can talk and they usually tell the truth. They should have definitely asked a forensic psychologist who has experience working with very young children, because he told his mom that there was someone in the house chasing Sean. It's a shame that he was not tested for substances too, because he seemed so drowsy. Was there a toxicology done on Sean? Did anything come back? Yes. ME sent off several tox screens and tests. Everything was negative. Okay guys, this raises more questions for me. Why the heck would he cooperate with this crazy plan? If, in fact, there was an intruder, he might have been otherwise incapacitated or threatened. What if the intruder said that they could hurt his little brother if he didn't do as he said? Could it have been a dare, a prank of sorts that turned wrong? I don't know, you guys. Did the family ask for a second autopsy to be done? They did not. They have had an alternate medical review done on the ME's findings, but not a second autopsy. They are not opposed to it, but it hasn't been necessary yet. The cause of death was determined to be hanging and the manner of death self-demise. There were apparently no injuries on his body apart from an old scratch mark on his neck. Experts state that there is such a thing as partial or soft hanging, where the string is strapped more around the chin rather than around the neck. That will explain why the bone in the neck wasn't broken. It is also not painful, as one simply passes out. Michelle After Dark was talking about this as she did martial arts and she's familiar with pressure points. According to Michelle, it doesn't even take much strength to knock someone out by pressing the pressure points on the carotid arteries to stop blood flowing to the brain. So he could have done this to himself, but equally somebody might have done that to him too, against his will, or even dared him to do it as a prank or part of a game. The perpetrator could have also incapacitated him in this way and then arranged him on the swing. He wouldn't be able to stand up as he was passed out. That would explain why he didn't simply stand up when his legs were touching the ground. Either way, to me, both conclusions are possible. What I don't get is that Sean was a happy child with no history of depression or mood swings. It just doesn't make sense that he would do this in combination with the other red flags. He was in the middle of doing his chores, he was making a snack, he was planning his future. He borrowed books from the library that day. He did his homework and he was about to game with his friends. He was excited about going on another Disney cruise with his family. He was excited about his mom getting a new job at Pentagon and about moving. His friends and teachers also describe Sean as a happy child, and none of them can believe the self-demise scenario. Okay, so the next question I asked was, were there any pillows or cushions out of their usual place in the residence, or any other soft objects missing? It's hard to say. The family claims the guest bed was really disheveled, and of course the drawers were rummaged through and open in the master. There were a few pictures sideways on the walls. They have been asking for the scene photos so they can analyze, and the sheriff's department will not grant them access. This to me points to some kind of struggle in the house, especially the messed up bed and the picture frames askew on the walls. That is a red flag to me, guys. I hope the family gets to see the photos. And also the pillows from the guest bedrooms could have been tested, as they could have been used on Sean, because he had no marks, no defensive wounds, nothing on him. Next question. Did you guys have any luck viewing the full video from the neighbor who posted the still frame of the landscaper truck? If not, why not? Did they refuse? Did anyone talk to them? We have not been given access to the video. They were asked several times. It was not provided. Our PIs have spoken to them and Ramona herself has spoken to them a few times. This is really unfortunate and frustrating. Why would someone post only one still picture, and why would they keep the footage from the family? They are either completely heartless or they have been scared of by someone, or they might have some guilty knowledge, or I don't know, why would they not provide what they have? What do you think, guys? What about the other ring bell cameras in the neighborhood, even in another street? Ramona and Jamie is, I think, Maria's boyfriend's mom, so Ramona and Jamie canvassed and asked for video. In the days following the incident, only a few neighbors had ring cameras. They had asked people who lived near both entrances of the street if they had any video of cars or people entering or exiting the lane during the time of the incident. Unfortunately, the one person near the corner had the sensitivity turned to low because his camera had been recording and storing every single car, and he didn't want that info day after day. He had no viable footage during the time frame. And again, these are two civilian mothers just asking politely for footage. No forensic analysis was done on any of the cameras or footage in the area. Well, hopefully this case will get more publicity and more people will come forward with footage. Even if they think that there is nothing of significance, they still should give it to the family or to the investigators. They never know what can be gleaned from that. Okay, my next question was, what kind of relationship did Sean and the family have with the biological father? He had a friendly relationship with his biological father, but it was sporadic. He lives a few hours away and he didn't see the kids often. I was curious about the bio dad, so it's interesting to know that he lives far away. I would like to know if the police checked his whereabouts. Next question. Is there anyone they are suspicious of? The theory is that it was someone who lived in close proximity. How many strangers viewed the house when it was put up for sale? Maybe some of those people were suspicious? There weren't any strangers that entered the house. It was all realtors by appointment. This is a military area and most purchase sight unseen. Only realtors entered as representatives for their clients for this particular sale. This is very interesting, you guys. Now, the next part is really infuriating. Here we go. Was the landscaper who said I don't know him who did it interviewed with a translator if English was not his first language to see what he meant by that statement? Ramona mentioned in an interview that she thinks that more than one person from the neighborhood saw something. What did she mean by that? Are the neighbors afraid to come forward? So the landscapers were not individually interviewed, but the LE went and talked to the owner. That particular landscaper who said that was part of a team that day of 3 men. They were accountable for each other during that time frame. They are not believed to be involved. Wow, you guys, that seems unbelievable to me that the investigators wouldn't interview one of the only 2 people, first one being Maria, who actually witnessed Sean hanging there. Just this one fact would be enough for me to have the case moved to someone else who could actually do the work. Wow, I still can't believe that the landscaper was allegedly not questioned, especially on that strange statement he made. Did he see somebody but he didn't know him? Or was it a language issue? Maybe English wasn't his first language. The new investigators definitely could have something to work with here. And to me, it clearly indicates that the LE were not really investigating this as anything else but self-oofing. And 3 landscapers accounted for each other. Excuse me? Does that mean that it's impossible for 3 individuals to commit a crime together? What kind of logic is that? I don't know, you guys. I might be missing something, but this is crazy to me. Okay, so the next question also clarifies a lot for me, because I was so confused about the belt. Where was the belt positioned on Sean's arms and how high? The belt was on his forearms, just an inch or so above his wrists. His arms were long and they were on his thighs. The belt was buckled backward and then fastened in the back through a loop so that the strap was not hanging at all. Okay, wow. That's interesting. That's an interesting detail, guys. Okay, let's try this, guys, because I doubt it very much that the LE actually tried this themselves. Okay, guys, I have a belt. It goes an inch above my wrists and backwards. Okay, 1. Oh, this is a very tiny belt, you guys. Hold on, guys, we are doing something here, Svenosh. Okay, let me just do it like this. put my arms through. Loop it backwards so it's not hanging. Maybe like this. I don't know, guys. This is loose though. So, okay, so it's at the back. Now I am literally okay, so I've done this. It seems pretty tight, except this is supposed to be a little lower. But look, guys, this is how easily it is to undo the arm. It just doesn't make sense why this would be done like this, because it has no function, literally, since you can just easily pull your arms out. See, this is completely useless, guys, because you can put the arms like this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, guys, I got another belt because this one seems too short. There's no point in having it on if you can take your arms out. Pull it as hard as you can. Okay, guys. So this is it. It's as tight as it can be. Let's see if I can get out of it. Wow, guys, it points to staging to me because it's completely useless. Oh, this belt got looser, so I really don't know how to test this properly. But we tried it on someone else and they could easily get out of it, and they couldn't get back in when it was very, very tight. They just couldn't get back in. To me, it seems completely useless to have the belt. If it doesn't serve any purpose, why would anybody put the belt on? If you can easily take your arms out of it, even if it's very, very, very tight. My next question is, how long did the LE investigate before deciding the conclusion of the case? It seems to me that they decided almost straight away. The case is still open. The family does not feel as though this was ever investigated as a homicide. That night and the next day, the investigators assured the public and the school system that it was a clear-cut self-demise, while simultaneously poo-pooing the family. We believe they aren't closing the case intentionally, because if they do, then they would have to answer our FOIA request, which would show egregious investigative errors and lack of work product, because it wasn't investigated as anything other than self-demise. The ME ruled it as self-demise by hanging on June 2nd, 2022, after she got the negative tox screens back. She was undecided for a while, as the autopsy indicates that there was no petechial, I'm so sorry guys, hemorrhaging, no swelling or edema in the face, no eye bulging, intact hyoid, and the damage to the neck was minimal. So much so the skin was not even broken. Another strange thing is that on the night of death, the ME received the body right after it was given to the organization that procures organ donation, and they took their own inventory of the body and noted every mark and scrape. They noted nothing on the neck. They noted every autopsy cut, every bruise, the body tag, scratches, and absolutely nothing on the neck. It could be a mistake. If so, what else did they miss? Or the marks could literally have been gone. We don't know. Okay guys, it totally looks like to me too that the police never actually investigated it as anything else, as self-demise. It is too bad that they didn't listen to the family's concerns from the get-go, and that they were not able to answer their questions and put their minds at ease. And I'm not saying that it couldn't have been a self-demise. It very well could have. Either way, we don't know. But there is no excuse how the family has been treated. You can look up the statement that the York Waukegan Sheriff's Office put out as a response to this grieving family's plight for answers. Just their attitude alone shows you that the family is right and they need help. It's disgraceful that the LE would do that to them. And this is just my opinion, guys, but the deputy's arrogant, defensive, and condescending tone is in direct contrast to him describing the police force there as caring. There have been nothing but. Why didn't they take the same time they invested into this shameful discrediting of the family and actually answer their questions? Some of the things the major mentioned were twisted in my opinion, like the footage of the man walking past from a month later. Yes, it was a month later, as stated by the family. They got a security system after that event and they were watching for any suspicious individuals in their area. Also, the yard being described as swampy. It was also described as muddy and dusty, so there were obviously some areas that were soggy and some that were dry and dusty. The deputy stated that they collected evidence. If so, then please close the case and release all the information to the family. I would like to see the evidence collected as well. What about the evidence that was apparently left behind? Sean's underwear, the trash bags, fingerprints, Maria's sketch of the scene, Ramona's testimony what was out of place in the house. It felt like they all had to volunteer any information to the police. Additionally, witness testimony from the landscapers, video footage from the area, witness statements from the neighbors. None of this seemed to have been done according to the family. So what evidence do they have? The sheriff's office insists they have interviewed landscapers and neighbors, but the family says otherwise because the neighbors told them so. This discrepancy can be easily rectified if the information is released. The guy then straight up says that the videos and photos the family has on the site are not from the scene.
The videos and photos you see on their social media site are not from the actual scene. They have been fabricated. First, the video of the man walking in front of their house is from 1 month after the incident, not the day of the incident. 2, the blood spatter image depicted in the video was not from the scene.
Oh my god, guys. Obviously, there are illustration images, and in my opinion, he's just twisting it to discredit the family. Regarding the 2-year-old brother being asleep, yes, he did appear to have been asleep and hiding under a pile of clothes. When Ramona found him, was he merely asleep or drugged though? Well, we will never know because the Ellie never allegedly bothered to find out. The family said that no tests or an interview were done by the sheriff's office. The mother was reacting in the moment and she didn't know yet that her 2-year-old son would tell her later that night that there was someone in the house chasing Sean and punching him. I believe her when she said she disclosed this to the Ellie. It's like one of many red flags in this case. Further, the family called the shoestring type cord because it was described as such by the ME. They know it came from their own motorcycle bag that was located in the garage, and the only DNA was Sean's DNA found on the cord, yet his sister Maria also touched it when she removed it. So as you can see, a person might have touched it and not leave their DNA, or they might have been wearing gloves, or they might have instructed Sean under duress to put it on. There are many different scenarios and options, not just the obvious one. Sean might have also tried to remove it, hence leaving his DNA. Besides, as Ramona said it has his DNA because it was on his body. The deputy then talks about the underwear that was left behind, but never quite makes a point about it or says what happened to it. Was it tested? We don't know. Why mentioning it then? Obviously, if someone texted the mother, time to move on, then she has the text message. It should be easily proved or disproved. At this point, it would be the most beneficial for the YPSO to pass this case over to another agency because obviously the relationship between them and the family has broken down completely. Surely, it wouldn't hurt to get another look. It's the least that can be done for the family, and if it is confirmed as self-demise, then so be it. But I don't think so, guys. There are so many strange things that have not been explained. But what do you think, guys? Comment down below. Please click the link in the description and sign the petition to help the family to get another investigation done. It's the least any of us can do. And there is way more information on the family's Facebook page, so please go check it out. The link is also listed below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification bell on for any updates and future videos. I will keep you posted, guys. Please stay safe and I will see you next time.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.